How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to Tokyo Rising. Today is episode number 36. Last episode, I sold a surplus foreign player. Today I'm here to tell you I've signed another foreign player. We're back over the limit once the player arrives. And the man in question is this man, Look Manga, Cameroonian international. Manga's his last name. Of course I had to sign him for a Japanese football club. He is a dreamy centre-back, and I know what you're thinking, Jack. He's on £1.6 thousand a week, playing in the second division of Brazil. How much are you paying him? Great question. He's going to join us on £1,500 a week, but I guess the big headline news here is I'm spending £600,000 on him. That's a lot of money to spend on a centre-back, but looking at him, he's absolutely phenomenal. Compared to my current centre-backs, he is just an absolute monster of an upgrade. I've not been able to find centre-backs in Japan, so now we're going to Cameroon, or well, Brazil, to find a Cameroonian. I'll tell you what, he's on one hell of an adventure around the world, isn't he? Anyway, sadly the transfer window isn't open yet, so he can't join us immediately. He'd be quite a good asset going into today's games, where we've got Hollyhock and then got Fagiano. I'm going with Fagiano. It looks like it should be an Italian name, doesn't it, Fagiano? They play at the City Light Stadium. Sunderland fans don't get confused. It is a different guy. It's not the City Light Stadium. It looks quite nice in this picture. I'm looking forward to the away day. Anyway, I have got one more transfer to talk about. We'll talk about that man right after the intro. Yes, it's another centre-back. No, he's not another foreign player. Look, I've learnt my lesson, okay? Things are changing. Things are advancing as well. We're currently 7th in the league, challenging for the playoffs. Maybe. Let's talk more about that right after the intro. I hope you guys are having a lovely Wednesday. Welcome back to the channel. Apologies there wasn't a video yesterday. My voice needed a complete rest day on Monday, but I'm here recording on Tuesday for you on a Wednesday. It's currently 34 degrees in my office. It's bloody hot in England. Now, I've already talked about Look Manga joining us. There's another centre-back who's joining us, and it's this guy, Sakaguchi. He's joining us from Ayomori Yamada High School. I've talked about this high school so much. They're one of the best high schools in Japanese football. The guy that we've signed isn't actually listed as their key player, but I think he is better than Ogane here. The man that we have picked up is this guy, Ryosuke Sakaguchi. He is 18 years old, a great little centre-back. I know he's inconsistent and very one-footed, but compared to our current centre-back options, I actually think he's way better than the star ratings suggest. If I quickly compare him with Ataki, here is a head-to-head. I think we can all agree this guy's good. Sadly, like the previous signing I've talked about, he won't be joining us till the transfer window opens, and that's still 2 months away yet. 14th of July is when transfers will happen. Now, upon playing our 2 games today, we will already be at the halfway point in the season, which feels absolutely mental because the league season has barely been going on for 3 months. Yet the league season feels very, very congested here in Japan. There is a long, long off-season, although the first half of the season does feel just jam-packed with league games, doesn't it? The schedule is going to ease up over the next few months, which I think will be kind of nice just for the sake of squad rotation. And while speaking of recent form, you can see here we've not been doing too badly. Last episode we got a couple of draws. Since then we've played 8 matches in all competitions. The games we've won, not the games I expected to win. The games we slipped up in, the games I expected to win. That's just how Football Manager goes, isn't it? Now, in the first game since last episode, we did win 2-0 against Renofa. Lucas Ferreira and Omarov with the goals. Renofa, absolutely garbage, bottom of the league. If we hadn't beaten them, I really would have started to panic, but nevertheless, it was good to get a win there, especially knowing that we had Cataler and Grampus up next. The first of those 2 games was a narrow victory, 3-2 against Cataler, and I think if one player has been the player of the month for the month since you were last here, it has to be Taba. The 18-year-old, or rather 17-year-old, turns 18 soon, who we signed as of last episode, has been absolutely phenomenal. He does now have a face as well, continuing to improve, and actually, up top, he and Okamura have been looking really quite good, to the point where I'm seriously considering moving on Omarov. You know, we've obviously hit our foreign player limit, signed a new player in Manga at centre-back, and of all the foreign players I've got, Omarov might be the one I'm willing to let go, which, you know what, prior to a month ago would have seemed mental. Probably also with this game should acknowledge the nature of the win. They got a 2-2 equaliser in the 93rd minute before Taba turned up with a goal. Great performance by him. You can see our players were exhausted by the end of this match. This fixture schedule has been brutal. So 2 wins in a row was really nice, and we needed those wins because in our next game we were taking on Grampus. They were right up there at 2nd or 1st in the league towards the top. They are a J1 team in real life. They're a very scary team here. The good news for us was we were gifted a way to get quite far ahead in this game. Taba with a really intelligent pass to Omarov for our second goal of the game, finessed into the bottom corner. 2 goals up after 22 minutes. They would peg us back right at the beginning of the second half. And after the previous game, where obviously we'd given away a lead and ended up at 2-2, I was a little bit worried here, but the good news was we held on in spite of them scoring within 30 seconds of the restart. And from there, well, we managed to get another good win. Sadly, however, this win was the last win in this run of 4. It was against Sanga, a J1 team in the J-League Cup. I rotated our team, they rotated our team. Our B team was better, 3-0 that one finished. Sadly though, some games that I marked as winnable ended up not being so winnable. The first game against Gifu here, we drew 1-1. Look at how the game played out. We scored in the 90th minute, Takagi back, getting an all-important goal. They then equalised in extra time. Lots of late goals in this recent run of games. A 4-2 defeat against Alabrex was pretty embarrassing, and it was made worse by the fact that the man of the moment, Tabu, who I've just talked about being really, really good, was sent off in this game after 20 minutes. He's pretty much the reason we lost, but for a result that we've not talked about yet, I've forgiven him already. Against Imabari, we drew 2-2. They are a team firmly planted in mid-table, so at home against them, you'd hope for a better result. We actually came back from behind twice in this game, and having been on the receiving end of a 4-2 defeat a couple games back, we ended this run of games since we last here with a 4-2 win against Zvigan. And you'll notice the goal scorer here, Taba, with 4 goals in one game. The 17-year-old has been really, really good. He's developing really nicely as well. When it comes to our young striking options, we are blessed with some crazy good young Japanese attacking talent. Of course, when we look at our team sorted by age, you can see here there's a few really important players who have played a lot of matches for us this year, 18 and younger. Longer term, I am going to need homegrown at club players for J1 because they are a requirement for your matchday squad. So to have this many good young players stepping up and being major players is very, very good. Of course, in spite of the fact we won our most recent game, it has been a little bit hit and miss. We've won a few games against the likes of Grampus that I didn't really expect us to win, whereas when we took on some of the teams much further down, we struggled. The 2 games that we've got today are 2 games that if we win, I start to think, yeah, the playoffs are on. If we fail to win them, well, we're currently already 4 points off the playoffs. We're going to find ourselves in a pretty bad situation. It's rather congested in the midfield. I feel like I should also acknowledge over on the right-hand side here, there is one man who has the most goals, most assists, most player of the matches, and highest rating in the league. It's Rueda here, who plays for Grampus. He is on £11,000 a week. Now, I'm not here to say he's a bad player, but I am surprised at just how well he's doing in J2. He is absolutely tearing this division apart, the Argentine. Anyway, our first game today is against Hollyhock. We're fairly familiar with them. We were promoted with them last year. We should be beating them. So in terms of how we're going to line up for this game, I have been reverting back to our regular 4-4-2. Admittedly, when Hashizume needs to come in on the right-hand side, I do just simply move forward, the right-hand-sided player. Kamiyama, though, for the most part, I have been playing back at right mid. You can actually see in terms of average ratings, maybe it's not been the best move, but we have seemingly, at least, played better when we're no longer playing asymmetrically. In terms of the starting 11, this is the team that I've kind of been settling on a little more lately. I mentioned Taba's recent good form. The youngster has been great at striker. The likes of Hashizume and Okamura, on paper, should be great. On the pitch, they've been a little bit hit and miss lately, and whilst, as I already mentioned, Omarov has been a good player this year, of our foreign players, he is the one who I feel like we have enough talent to disperse and, well, remove from the first team upon Manga joining us, the new centre-back. So with that in mind, rather than relying on Omarov, who I think I'm going to be phasing out the team, I'm choosing to persist with the youngsters. Today, Hashizuma is the man getting the nod. If he plays bad, Hashizume, he could be dropped for the next game. The rest of the team, though, pretty much as you'd expect. One player missing, Mitsuhashi suspended. Kato is going to come in at right back. He was suspended for a period when he first joined us. He then had, as you can see here, some abdominal muscle injury issues. He missed 2 weeks of football. The good news is he's back today. It's going to be his first start at right back, however. If there was one word I was going to use to describe the season so far, it would be frustrating. This game against Hollyhock, on paper, is the kind of game I look at and go, we'll win this. But when it's come to these kind of matches, we've struggled for whatever reason. It doesn't feel like goal scoring has been the primary concern, although it's been a issue at times this year. But defensively, we've very rarely kept clean sheets. And I think that is down to the centre-backs. It's why I've chosen to bring in a load of new centre-backs. Of course, ironically, as I talk about an inability to defend, we're witnessing a game where it's 0-0 after 38 minutes. But maybe we can make something happen here. As Kato, the right-back, plays it inside to Kamiyama, the right midfielder lays it back to Kato. Deniz is back from injury. He's putting it in, and he's putting it on the head of Abdul Ahmed, the youngster, the Pakistani international, gives us a lead. If I'm not mistaken, it's the left midfielder's 5th goal of the year, I think. If I'm not mistaken, he's got 2 finishing, but the man seems to know how to put the ball in the back of the net when he needs to. That there was a really nice header. A little bit concerned about Ono and Ataki at the back on yellow cards, but at least for now, I'm not going to touch things unnecessarily. Of course, if they get a goal back now before half-time, or a sending off was to happen, that probably would be necessary to make the changes. Hollyhock with the ball. Saito looking maybe to bring it onto this near side. Of course, like I mentioned, it's our left back and our left centre back on bookings. They need to be well behaved here. And while Masuda looking to bring the ball down the near side, Ahmed doesn't put in a good tackle. Noda now in a one-on-one situation against the left back, who needs to be careful. The ball's whipped towards the back post, and Oi Wayne. Remember Oi Wayne? I really wanted to sign Oi Wayne a year ago. He's headed it straight at the keeper, and that right there is going to end the half. It's 1-0 at the break. If I'm not mistaken, that header was their first real effort of the game. When you look at the XG story, probably deserved to be ahead. That said, I'm not going to get complacent. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from pleased, and I am just going to change things up right away. Ono has been a little bit hit and miss lately, given the fact the left-back's on a booking. He's been suffering a bit from fixture congestion, and I've got a good left-back in for Katsu. It just feels like a sensible thing to bring in our backup left back. In terms of the centre-back position, well, Ataki's on a booking. Takabe here, I want to give some game time to, hence the fact he finds himself on the bench. Would it be a terrible idea to bring him in at the back for a debut in a live commentary? You know what? There's no time like the present. I'm going to bring him in. Some fresh legs needed. Some fresh legs brought on. I'm looking at the strikers as well. Hashizume, not having a good game. There's a big part of me that wants to bring in Takabe here. His recent form has been really, really good. In his last 5 games, he's been one of our best players. So you know what? I'm going to bring him in. Obviously, Omarov is perhaps the more proven quality player when it comes to the striking. But for reasons I've already identified, I need to stick with the Japanese strikers. So Takagi is going to get the nod. I'm going to hope that he can continue his pretty good recent run of form. The 2 players on the pitch for us now probably are our 2 in-form strikers. Can they find the back of the net? Taba hits the inside the post. That was a golden opportunity. The ball's half-headed away. It will now presumably be cleared away, but 5 minutes into this half, a half-decent chance the woodwork denied us. Noda with a throw-in on the far side here for Hollyhock. Honjo now with it. Options in the middle for him to potentially aim for. Kudo, one of them, and he has fluffed his lines. We have been let off massively. Kato at right back, throws it to Denise. Back with Kato. He's going to whip it towards the back stick. Ahmed was lurking away. Sadly, he couldn't get there. Sato picks out the ball for them. With 32 minutes left, there's been 1 goal in this game so far. You certainly wouldn't bet against there being more, though, before the 90 minutes is done. Hollyhock in possession, looking to make something happen here. Einaga bringing the ball into the middle. Defensively, we look at a bit of a shambles here. Noda with loads of space in the left-back position. And but for some poor finishing, Hollyhock really should be back in this game. Ferreira is really struggling in this game. I'm going to bring in Yoniyama. I do have 1 further sub to make. You know what? Taber off, Omarov on. I'm making all 5 subs inside 62 minutes. It could be a recipe for disaster, but I'm really not liking what I'm seeing so far. A corner here, perhaps a chance to double our lead. Ahmed, the goal scorer, is the man looking to get the ball into the box. He's going to put it in the box, and Takabe, who he brought in at half-time, headers it, and I'll be honest, he was completely open there. It wasn't even a spectacular goal, but what a way to score on his live com debut. It's not been a particularly inspiring performance, has it, this one, but that ball there was whipped in nicely. Takabe unmarked, and yeah, keeper got nowhere near it. It was weird how open he was in the middle. I'm not going to complain one little bit, though. I feel like suddenly with a 2-goal lead, I can afford just to relax a little bit. They have gone significantly more attacking here. They've gone to kind of a 4-2-4 with the wide attacking midfielders committed really high up the pitch. I feel like it's a bit of desperation from Hollyhock that might leave them exposed at the back. They have had a few chances where they've missed the target completely and, well, you'd maybe back their players to score. But besides those chances, they have yet to test our goalkeeper. They've not yet had a shot on target. And meanwhile, we are looking to, well, get the ball forward again. Omarov latching onto a missed header, and Omarov missing the target. Would one of our other players have scored it if I'd kept them on? Maybe. Anyway, 5 minutes amount of time at the end of this game. This has been a bizarre match. Not a load of highlights, not a load of chances, but in the end, a fairly convincing win, all things considered. You can see they tried to focus the play a lot down the right-hand side. We made some changes on that side of the pitch at half-time. Based on the sub ratings, it was maybe the right decision to make. Now, prior to this game, we were 4 points away from the playoffs. After this game, we're 2 points away from the playoffs, but only because Albirex haven't played. Everyone immediately above us who did play 1. Now, as I already mentioned, fixture congestion has been a bit of a consideration lately. Mercifully now, the fixtures are slowly but surely going to get spread out. This next game against Fagiano is a week away, so we can rest up the players nicely. And as you can see, 4 games in June looks really, really bliss, doesn't it? Especially after the last couple of months. That said, still got a few cup competitions we're in. When they're scheduled, maybe the schedule will look different. 1 game down, 1 win. I want to make it 2 for 2. We need to make it 2 for 2 if we want to continue our pursuit of the playoffs. I'll see you in a week for an away day and to see if we can get another win on the board. I feel like I say this a lot. For today's away day, we're heading west again, and we are heading to near, I believe, Okayama. I think, I did already check, because it's on one of these patches of grass. That's the Okayama Dome. That's not where we're going today. Of all the domes we've seen in Japan, that is definitely the worst, isn't it? That is awful. Not even part of the away day, mind you. And that's because for today's away day, we are at the City Light Stadium. Now, I've already had a little peek at this stadium because it looked weird, and I wasn't sure I was in the right place. Does this look like 1 stand's been built out of 4? Did you ever play LMA Manager when you were a little kid? You know, with the stadium builder? And you could have like 1 stadium use all your stadium budget and make it massive and then have nothing the other sides. That is literally what this stadium looks like, isn't it? We're right by a main road, but look at this. We've got a beautiful park next door with a lovely looking lake. Look at that appetizing colour. It looks so clean. There's baseball to the south. There is a zip arena. What is a zip arena? Whatever a zip arena is, there's one of those. There's more tennis and whatever the Dickens this building is here. And then over, well, near the stadium, we've got very little car parking. This can't be the car parking, can it? Although there's also a swimming pool. Is it just me, or does every single Japanese football stadium just have everything you could want around it? Now, naturally, I could go look at the stadium, which it looks like there is going to be plenty of footage of, but you know what? I want to go look around the park first. Admittedly, from here, the water actually doesn't look nearly as bad. Here is the park in all its glory. Over there is the Octagon building, which I am going to go find out what it was all about. And over here, that's the football stadium stand. It's just a stand, isn't it? I don't know about anyone else. I want to know what the Okayama Budokan is. Like, this is the biggest mystery of all. Can I even find out what's in it? I can't. If anyone wants to tell me what's in the Budokan? I've never seen that word in my life. Please let me know. Here is the stadium from the outside. It looks absolutely bloody massive, and we can go for a bit of a wander. Admittedly, this is some of the older Street View footage we've experienced during our time in Japan. I mean, this stadium makes it look like we're going to this massive ground from this angle, but if I go round, you quickly realise, such as from the main road here, there's just no stand this side. That is the scoreboard there. And here is the other side of the ground. There's just a hedge. Yeah, there's a hedge. Now, there's 1 dot here, but there is also this footage going around, which I'm going to assume is part of all the other footage we've seen from 2012. So this could be slightly out of date, but here is the stadium in all its glory. I was a bit disrespectful, wasn't I, implying there's not a stadium on the other side of the pitch. But let's be honest, compared to this one here, it looks very, very poxy, doesn't it? I should apologise. There's actually standing area here. So there is a stand on all sides. Kind of. I mean, I'm not being funny. If I went to this stadium, I'm standing over it. I bet this is where all the ultras hang out. And as for the other side of the pitch where I said there's just a hedge, there is no stand. I guess you could just stand here and watch the game, maybe. Stadium looks very nice from here, it has to be said. Some people have informed me the reason that Japan's floodlights always seem a bit weird and look different to, say, English ones is because they're built to withstand earthquakes, which when you think about it, does make a lot of sense. I mean, this is just a fun little stadium, isn't it? It's a bit unique in the sense that it's got this weird 1 roof stand and then these other stands around the edge. It is a bit typical Japanese football stadium. I think we've seen this a lot, haven't we, really? That football pitches are just integrated into bigger athletic stadiums. But the park next door seems really nice. And there's plenty going on in and around the ground. I kind of want to find out what the Zip Arena is. But again, I don't think I can go in the Zip Arena. Can I go in it? No, can I peek through the windows? There's just lovely reflections. If anyone from Okayama's watching, which feels highly unlikely, but this is the internet, I need more info on the area around this away day, please. I feel like that would help me inform my score. I mean, in my head, the Zip Arena is like somewhere where you go on a big zip line. But you got, yeah, Zip Arena, swimming pool, baseball, park. Basically everything that you can imagine that a Japanese away day could offer. It has, minus a theme park. Which, let's be honest, maybe I'm setting my expectations too high, expecting a theme park at every away day. I can't remember what score I gave the City of Light Stadium, which is Sunderland's ground, but the City Light Stadium is better than the City of Light Stadium. This picture makes it look way, way nicer, actually, with the hills in the background we couldn't see before. I have to give this stadium a rating. Very fun around the edges, bit unique, bit quirky. I'm going to give it another 7 out of 10. I feel like it was quite similar to our last away day. Anyway, with that all said and done, we're going to jump into this game, which is another game we really should be winning against Fagiano. In terms of the team for today's game, I'm bringing Omarov back into the starting 11. This is very close to what I consider to be our best 11 when we're fully fit. In terms of players not available, Ono, the left back, is suspended. I think of all our defenders, he does have the best rating, although it is only a 6.99. And when it comes to the rest of the team, yeah, it is the full strength team, I think. I think Tampa and Omarov on paper is my best strike force. Certainly the players that have produced the most goals for us. But as I've kind of already mentioned, players like Takagi, who's been in good form, players like Okamura as well, I feel like I've got to show a degree of patience and persistence with. It's very easy to forget that when it comes to players like Okamura, he's 18 years old. He's only going to get better. I mean, granted, I did spend £170,000 on him, and he is one of our most expensive players on £1,000 a week. I've started him in 10 games. He's got 2 goals. Maybe impact sub is what he needs to be doing. He is coming back from injury, can play 45 minutes if needed. If you were wondering, by the way, Fagiano's key man is Gleison here, 31 years old, Brazilian. This guy's on £9,000 a week. Fagiano are a bottom half J2 team. The kind of money that some teams around us are offering on their players is absolutely absurd. So the good news for us looking at their team is he's not playing for them in this match. They've dropped him to at least the bench. As for ourselves, we're going to be going with that 4-4-2. We've got 2 wins on the bounce. They've had 2 defeats on the bounce. Let's hope that we can keep trending in the right direction here. Okay, folks. First highlight of the game, 10 minutes in, Yoshida with a free kick, which was not exactly placed where it needed to be placed. I will say, to the credit of Football Manager's researchers, they have correctly not got a stadium behind one of the goals. I mean, let's be honest, Football Manager stadiums never really accurately replace and reflect real life when it comes to stadiums, but at least they've got that little detail correct. Sagita, for them, is heading towards the end, where in real life there's the mini stand. In this universe, there's an empty burger van and a wagon and a van. They've scored a goal that's been ruled off. I'm too busy getting annoyed by how awful the trees look in 3D. Look how bad these trees look. Does that annoy anyone else? Is it just me? Look at the trees. Right, we've got a corner. Focus on the game. Kamiyama, please, get me distracted from the trees. Ferreira giving it short. Kamiyama, the right midfielder, steps in, drifts to the edge of the box, shoots. That was only a whisker wide. Last episode, we managed to avoid defeat. The episode before that, we managed to avoid defeat. Actually, in live commentary so far this year, I feel like we've performed better than expected. That's not to invite the idea of a defeat in this second game right now, but rather to try and convince myself that we should be expecting to get something from this game. Ate is going to lay it wide to Matsumoto for them. Fagiano with the ball at the back, not feeling too dangerous just yet, but they're going to look to build up the play through the middle, and it's Isazaki with it, who hits his shot against the crossbar. He was offside, it wouldn't have counted. Still a little bit scary to see, mind you. 34 minutes on the clock. The ball is lumped forward. Sadly for us, they've managed to deal with it fairly convincingly. And now, well, they're trying to knock it around into the wide area. They're playing this 4-3-3, and it does feel like their wing-backs are getting fairly high up the pitch, causing perhaps a bit of an overlap and a bit of an overload. That said, it does mean that when we do hit them on the counter, there's going to be this space in behind for players like Kamiyama to find. He pulls it to Tapper, and the 17-year-old, I'll be honest, really didn't need to shoot that with the ferocity he chose to. He's tried to smash it in. He's completely missed the target. 2 minutes of added time to conclude the half is going to amount to absolutely nothing. 0-0 on the road doesn't feel great. At the same time, I'm not panicking too much just yet. I feel like we can step it up, we can improve and grow into this game. I'm already weighing up if I want to make changes. Omarov's on a 6.4 rating. You know what? I'm bringing in Takagi. I brought him on last game, and given his recent form, you could justify and argue he should have been starting in this game. Going to give him plenty of time to make something happen here. Elsewhere, going to bring in Hashizume to play at right wing. I feel like Hashizume is overdue his breakthrough performance. You know, that standout game that I feel like really could announce his arrival into the team. He's been training well. Going to see if that translates into anything on the pitch. Denise hasn't been having the best game at defensive midfielder, but I don't really have a good option for him. The only man who I could also take off here is Fukatsu, but I think for now at least, I'm going to keep him on. I feel like when it comes to defenders, it's very easy to look at their ratings and go, they're having a bad game, take them off. But actually, well, at least for us in this universe, our defenders all seem to always have bad ratings. And I can't take the defence off in every game, especially given the fact it's 0-0 through 52 minutes. Defensively, the defenders have done what they've needed to do. It's on us to try and create something going forward. Andre Luiz has the ball here, gives it to Enui. Sagita now with the ball for them. on the left-hand side. Plays it through. Sakamoto denied by Nakano in goal. That was a massive stop. An hour played here. I've already made a few attacking changes, and at the same time, whilst I want to make further changes, maybe go more attacking, I'm conscious of the fact that, at least right now, it's still 0-0. Defensively, we're doing the business. We just need to create that one golden opportunity on the break. Fagiano, I think, is the home team, especially given their pre-season media prediction, are going to look to push as this game goes on for a win. And it's going to leave them open a little like this. The ball's in the back of the net, but the flag is raised. Taba was the man who scored it. I think Takagi has been ruled to be offside there. He has been. Apparently, he was involved in the build-up play and interfering with the goalkeeper. It was a chance, well, that we created, a chance we converted, but sadly the offside played a role. But maybe that's just a little crumb of comfort that we could create something with the players we've got on. Speaking of which, we've got the ball forward here. Fukatsu looking to pick out Taba. The youngster takes it down superbly, pulls it back to Takagi. The two Japanese strikers link up, and it's 1-0 with 22 minutes left. I feel like that was coming for a little bit. Hitting them on the counter-attack, they committed so many players forward from the initial set piece. The ball was played to Taba here. Was worried he was going to shoot. Instead, pulls it back really intelligently to the penalty spot, and Takagi tucks it away with confidence. 13 minutes left of this game. Denise is going to whip it towards the back stick. It's headed downwards. The keeper denies it. It falls back to Taba, and that shot may have grazed the top of the crossbar. We're winding up the pressure. I would love to get that second goal and go for the kill. A little bit worried we're going to live to regret these misses. They've only had one shot on target, and with 3 minutes left, I'm going to hope that number doesn't go up anymore. I feel like we deserve the result on the balance of play, despite the fact we've had 31% of the ball. We've been putting in a Tokyo 23-esque performance, and yet they've got a chance here. The throw-in is put into the middle. It's saved by Nakano. I think that would have been an own goal had it gone in. I have just spotted in the bottom corner. Taba's picked up a knock. As much as that's a concern, I'm desperate for us to hold on to things here. Their keeper has gone forward here. Hashizume, could he shoot? Could he score? The goal is open. No, okay, you know what? That's probably the sensible pass to make, really. And with that, it's going to be game over. They sent their goalkeeper forward at the end. Did wonder if we might see some crazy goal. Didn't quite happen. And while speaking of goalkeepers, and Nakano has picked up man of the match, which on the one hand, delighted to see our goalkeeper pick up man of the match. They had one shot on target in the entire game. So maybe that's just a depressing reflection of the lack of quality everywhere else on the pitch today. No one was good. That said, you know what? It's a clean sheet. It's another win. Does that move us any closer to the playoffs? The answer is a resounding yes. Albrecht drew against Roasso, and with that, we've crept into 6th. The automatic promotion spots are still, 5 points away, and the teams ahead of us have got games in hand. And in fact, when you look at things, lots of teams around us have games in hand. But it does feel like, at the very least, we could be in for a little playoff hunt, which would be, I think, a pretty good aim for this year at this point. I feel like playoffs, if we do that, I'd be happy. Taba is going to be out for up to 3 weeks, which is certainly less than ideal for the 17-year-old. We're going to need some players to step up around him, but I'm going to look at the positives. We've got 2 wins today. We needed 2 wins today. I feel like with 2 clean sheets as well, maybe in the second half of the year, we can use this little end of, good form to end the first half of the year as a springboard to keep our eyes on the prize. We might not have the quality, we might not have the money, we're grinding out some results. As already mentioned, the fixtures are going to start to get spread out a little bit more in the near future, which should be nice. I'm looking at the likes of Espals and Vigalta, who we take on, who are currently in 3rd and 4th. We take them on at the end of June. That is a month and a half away. I think that'll be a pretty good time to come back next episode. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Apologies for the lack of a video yesterday. I'm still working on my voice. Hopefully it sounds a little better today. We should be back tomorrow with more. I'll see you guys next time. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.